So we got the NSX wrapped up without the supercharger, obviously. We got the throttle body put back on, and I actually went to go key it on, and surprise, surprise, the battery's dead. So here's the gauge cluster, key it on, and you can barely see the oil pressure light come on. So it's like dead. So as you can see on our Optima charger, it's like dead. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to wait for this to charge up before we try to get it started on the Haltech. All right, we got the battery charged yesterday on the NSX, and unfortunately, we still don't have spark. So this thing doesn't want to fire off. I've checked the wiring before, and I'm gonna check it again now, just to be on the safe side. So I checked it before when I was first doing, just kind of troubleshooting the factory wiring when we had the factory coils in it. So I thought it was an issue with the factory coils and the igniter module with the Haltech. It wasn't playing nice, but that does not seem to be the case. So I'm gonna just check continuity again, just to be on the safe side, which we have here. So this connector is to the coils themselves. And so this should connect it to the ECU side of it for coil number 6. So let's go inside really quick here, and hopefully we can make sure that the wiring, at least for coil number 6, is right, which I'm pretty sure it is. Oh. Now, with that being said, I've been wrong before and I've made mistakes before. So number 6 goes to pin B3, which is A8 on the Haltech. So A8 on the Haltech. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but we do have the multimeter out there screaming. So we know cylinder number 6 is good. And I know for a fact that my settings within the Haltech are correct. So there's got to be something else going on here where it's not playing nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect that coil. I'm going to disconnect. Oh, the coil is, coil's already disconnected. We're going to go grab our spare Audi coil that we always have. And then I'm going to set up the camera and I'm going to crank it, and hopefully we get spark. So off camera, I checked to make sure that we had power and the 2 grounds. There's 4 pins on this coil. So we've got the 2 grounds, which go to the cylinder head, and we've got power. And I checked, and I checked all that. And so we know all that is good. So now at this point, what I've got to do is get the camera in a steady position here, and I'll turn off the light, and I'll plug everything back up, and we'll go to crank it. And if everything looks good, we should have spark there.
Operator, press 3. If you know the
Did you know Haltech IC7 dashes are compatible with a range of different... Haltech, this is Nick.
Hi Nick, my name is Steven. I'm with KR Motorsports in Killeen, Texas. I was calling because I needed some help with a Haltech 2000 here. I was wondering if you can give me a hand with it real quick.
A Sport 2000 or a Platinum 2000?
Should be an Elite 2000.
Okay. but
Yeah.
you don't have one wired to it. So, go to your functions, or hit F4,
Yep.
type in ignition switch, turn it off.
Ignition switch turned off. Got it.
Yep, turn it off. Reset the ECU.
Yep.
Click the little button at the top, go back to your diag page.
Yep.
Look at engine limiting method and function. They should both say none now.
Yep. Which they in fact do.
Yep, now try it.
Perfect. Okay. Hell yeah.
There you go.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, brother. All right, so hopefully now we've got spark. Definitely try to start. That's awesome. So here we're encountering a couple more problems with the setup here, which is, you know, it's part of whatever. So the first one is I tried to use a 9495 TPS just because that the connector was available, but it doesn't clear the throttle body. The second thing is that we're using a this is actually an idle valve from a 2004 Ford Focus with the 2.0 dual overhead cam motor. Just because that the Fox body one is like extremely long, it's like twice the length of this, so that would look really ugly. So with the idle valve mounted here, it can only go on one position, and that's at 12 o'clock. These valves, you can't flip them around because they're designed that to close with engine vacuum. So when the car starts, it closes the valve completely, and when you energize it, it starts to open it. So so you can't flip these valves around. So the next problem that we're going to have is finding this connector. You would think that finding the female side of this connector would be easy, but it's actually not. So I've been having a hard time trying to find it. Now I could cut this and then just splice it and make new connectors, but when this TPS fails, he'd have to go back and do all that. Not about all that. So we're going to change that. The next thing is that the idle valve connector is, reach for it, it's down here. So there's not a ton of room to work with. I wish I had thought about it beforehand, preemptively, but I definitely didn't do that. The final problem is now the throttle cable itself. The throttle cable used to be routed back here. Now we've got to route it through the front, and we're gonna have some issues with belt clamps there. So we'll have to put a couple of P-clamps and stuff like that. But another thing too is that the ends are different. So the Ford uses the, what is it, ball end to pull the cable, and as you can see, it pulls it into a downward motion. Now the alternative is what we're going to try to do is modify for this end. So this end normally is actually for the kickdown cable for an automatic, if I remember correctly. And so when you go wide open throttle, it pulls up on the transmission and then causes it to downshift. So we're thinking that if we go from here like so, it should result in a pulling action. Okay, so there's not really much else I can do here except for I just have to wait. So I need to get the Ford female TPS connector in before I can do anything else, and then from there I can start routing all the wires. So the thing is that I have to kind of get everything where they need to be as far as length goes, and then from there I need to start planning on how to do everything. And this is